Alright guys, let's get started. It is Wednesday. It's time for another technical analysis. I'm gonna do technical analysis on Ethereum and Bitcoin yet again, just as promised, because as you know, these are the two coins that are really driving the market right now. We're gonna analyze the charts, we're gonna look at potential price targets, and of course, what is most likely, the most likely scenario for both Bitcoin and Ethereum in the short term as well as the long term. I mean, the market is still bearish, as you know. We actually turned bearish. This is the token metrics, one of their new indicators, which I really like. This indicator already flashed bearish in on the 19th of August. And prior to that, we actually were bullish for a couple of months. Throughout July and August, we were looking quite bullish. However, we did turn bearish on the 19th of August. This indicator flashed bearish. As you can see, the fear and greed index is also in the extreme fear yet again. So the market conditions right now are not really good for any potential rallies. In the short term, I'm still expecting a slight up move in Bitcoin. I'm gonna tell you price targets as we go now into the charts, but that's just for the short term over the next few days. Generally, the direction is still down. Generally, we are not out of the bear cycle. This is what I've been saying, even despite our rally throughout July and August. I kept telling you guys, we are not yet out of the bear cycle. We have not flipped the trend. The trend is still down. This is the bull and bear indicator of token metrics. This is similar to the fear and greed index, but it is different. This is basically pointing towards us being in a bearish territory. So, and we are in the severe bearish territory, the most bearish that there is. I mean, 13%. Yes, we can drop a bit more, but it's not that much we can drop from here. So we'll see how it goes. I'm personally expecting that we will continue for at least another month or two. September is generally not great for cryptocurrencies, and especially September during a bear market is not good for cryptocurrencies. So we'll see how we will close today. This will be very important. Today is the 31st of August, so tomorrow is the new month starting. We will talk more about September in the next chart analysis, but for now, let's go into the charts. Let's look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, and first, actually, we're going to start with Ethereum. Looking on the daily chart of Ethereum, what we are seeing here is that it actually follows perfectly what I've projected already. My projected trajectory is really coming up nicely, exactly
as I predicted. Exactly as predicted.
Yes, indeed, exactly as I projected here. So it's doing everything that we expected from it. This was a typical correction. We had an A wave, B wave going up, of course, C wave coming down below the A wave, completing this correction. Now we are starting the recovery. Now we're gonna see how it goes, but we do have 2 weeks until the merge, and Ethereum is still looking bullish. And up until the merge, it's still looking bullish. I'm not saying that the price is going to continue going up all the way until the merge. In fact, I do think that we are going to start consolidating. We're most likely going to hit a resistance here and just continue sideways rather than break through resistance. But so far, we are looking somewhat bullish. We have here a drop in the volume as the price dropped. And even though the volume is not really coming up as the price is recovering now, I mean, somewhat of a increase here in the volume, but still not great for us. That's why I'm not hyper bullish on Ethereum. I'm not super bullish, but bullish nevertheless. I mean, on the daily, we do have a stochastic RSI that is just coming out of the oversold region. So we still have more room to go upwards before we can think of another drop in the RSI, which will, of course, coincide with a drop in the price. The MACDs are also on the low end, and they are far apart, but already starting to get tighter. So as they start getting tighter and they get closer and closer, we will see them cross at some point, and it will be a bullish cross. Now this could be cancelled if the bears take control and start pushing the price downwards with a lot of selling and everything. A lot of selling pressure will actually push both of these moving averages lower, and they still have more room to go down. I mean, if we're talking about going down, there is still a lot of room to go down. So they're not exactly the most bullish market is. However, we are seeing a curve in the blue line, which could be followed by a curve in the red one, and they could still go higher and higher before we see another drop. So market is somewhat bullish to me. Stochastic RSI, somewhat bullish. Simple RSI is in neutral territory, so it's not really that much to talk about it. Another thing that I like about the Ethereum chart is that we are forming this descending triangle, or falling wedge pattern, you can call it. And this pattern is another bullish one. So the most likely scenario, the most likely outcome is that we actually break on the upside of this pattern. It doesn't have to be right now. We could actually continue a little bit downwards first, go to retest support again, and then come and make that breakout. But typically this pattern breaks on the upside. And this is another pattern that I included in my ebook, in my short PDF, where I collected the most commonly used trading patterns. This is one of them. This is a bullish pattern, so that's why I'm expecting a bullish price action for the short term, in the next few days, in the next couple of weeks. Prior to the merge, I'm still expecting to see a little bit more of a bullish price action. And of course, just before the merge, in the last few days before the merge, we will probably see another dump, because at this point everyone would have already bought. A lot of people will be locking in profits. A lot of people, the selling pressure is going to be quite high prior to the merge, in the last few days before the merge. This is why I'm expecting that we will see a dump eventually, but for the next few days I'm still expecting a bullish price action here. So if you didn't sell Ethereum, this could be your chance. Going here in the 1600 and maybe even 1700 region, I would like to see it go to the 1700 region. You know that this is my ideal region for selling, and I didn't manage to sell enough Ethereum last time we revisited this region. It was very brief, so for me this will be my ideal selling point, coming in this region here, mid 1600 and lower 1700 region. This is where I will be looking into locking some profits, unloading some of the Ether that I was holding short term. Of course, I also have long-term Ether holdings, long-term BTC holdings. I don't touch this. I'm working here with my short-term holdings, the ones that are allocated for trading rather than for long-term hold. So trading capital, a lot of it right now is in Ethereum for me, in Ether. That's why I will be unloading here. Let's look at Bitcoin, because unfortunately not a very bullish chart. Let's go to the daily first. We see that we broke from this bearish flag formation. I talked about this in my previous analysis. Not a very heavy break though. Of course, we managed to drop to lower support region, and we even broke the 20,000 support, but very brief. We went to a mid 19,000 region. We found that support. This was a support line that I drew based on Fibonacci levels. So I had that drawn way before we managed to come here. We perfectly touched my support line, and then we bounced up from there. And as I said in my previous analysis, the 20,000 was not a very strong resistance, so we managed to climb above it very easily. Now we are consolidating 3 days, pretty much 3 days. We are around the 20,000 and we are not really going any higher, which is not great. The 9th moving average here on the daily, this is the 9th EMA, exponential moving average. This is acting as a resistance currently. And that's not great, because typically the 9th moving average is easy for us to conquer. We very easily climb above this moving average and we use it as a support. For the moment, this is a resistance. And then of course we have the 50th daily moving average, which is another resistance. This is the stronger one. This is the one that is going to be harder to break. This cross here of the 50th and the 9th moving average, this bearish cross, already indicated this drop, and this happened in mid-August. I talked about this in a previous analysis, so we knew that we can expect a drop. So no surprises in Bitcoin so far. I really wanted to come into this green zone here. This is my ideal region. On the way down, this was my ideal accumulation zone, because I didn't really expect us to be falling much lower below it. We did fall below it. As I said, not a very heavy break though. So I actually want us to come back into this region. This is a healthy region for us to be. This is 21,000. So As we come into the 21,000 region, we would have climbed above the 9th moving average. We will be using this now as a support, and this is what I want to see from us so that we can actually continue going higher. A failure to come above and to conquer this 9th moving average, to flip it into a support, a failure to do that will indicate that we will continue going downwards. And as that happens, it will scare a lot of people. So we're talking even more panic sellers, even more panic in the market overall. And, not just Bitcoin, but overall crypto market will be in panic. And that can easily take us to the 17,000 region yet again. And of course, below that, we do have the 14.5, call it 15,000 region as the strongest support so far. This is a region we have not revisited. I feel that if we are to come below the 17,000, this is the region where we are definitely going to find support, but I don't really want to see that happening for Bitcoin. Of course, it's not about my emotions, what I want and what I would like to see. But definitely for the moment we are managing to hold this support here around the 20,000. This is what I want to see. I really want us to keep that support, and I want us to actually go higher and flip that 9th moving average into support so that we can continue going up. Now, what is going good for us is the fact that with the drop in price, we did have, as I said also with Ethereum, a drop in the volume, and that is a bullish indicator. So on the plus side, this confluence in price action is in fact a bullish one. The stochastic RSI has just come out of the overbought region, so we still have a lot of more room to go higher before we see another drop. This is why I feel that we will be making another attempt at coming into my ideal region, and another hopefully successful attempt to break that 9th moving average. The markets, however, are not very bullish. Yes, we see a slight curve here in the blue line, and this could indicate that at least in the short term for the next few days we could see a little bit of a bullish price action, but for me these markets still have a lot of more room to go downwards before we see a proper rally in Bitcoin. Now, this is the weekly. It's very important to actually look at the longer time frame as well, because especially for me it's important because I'm trading long term. I'm not really that bothered about the shorter term price swings, and unfortunately this is not a very bullish looking chart. First of all, we do have this pattern here which is forming, which is unfortunately a bearish one. It kind of indicates a possibility to be going towards that 15,000, even 14,000 region. And on top of that, we do have the stochastic RSI looking quite bearish. We just crossed these two lines on the bearish side in the higher region here in the overbought region. We touched the overbought region, and now we are starting to go to drop. And because this is the weekly, it actually takes quite a long time. I mean, last time we were up here, it was back in April. So it took us all the way from April until May, a whole month. In that's like beginning of April, and this is end of May, so we're talking pretty much 2 months it took for this move here, and all of this is a bearish move, and we can actually see this is coinciding with this drop. So this whole drop here, and of course there was a bit of a rally in the middle, a bit of a consolidation and a slight rally in the middle, but overall this was 2 months of heavy downwards price action. Is this coming again? Because this is where we are. And when we go into that region here in the overbought region, typically we drop all the way to the oversold region. And this drop here was also from November all the way until late December. So this was already more than a month price action, downwards price action from the point where we were here in the overbought region. Then we went in the overbought region in April, and it took us almost 2 months until we went in the oversold region. And now we are just coming out of the overbought region again. Is it going to take us another 2 months until we come in the oversold region? It's not a guarantee. It doesn't have to be. But if it does it will look like something like this. So we could argue that a 15 and even 14,000 Bitcoin is really coming, and it's going to take us now 2 months throughout September, and perhaps mid-October we could look into Bitcoin touching these price levels. It's not a guaranteed, it doesn't have to happen, but it's just another possibility. We have to be aware of the possibilities, and unfortunately this chart right now looks to me like this is coming. And because we're looking at the bigger time frame, the longer time frame, it does not mean that we are not going to come up here in the 21,000 region, which will give us a great opportunity to sell if you hold Bitcoin right now. And if you're looking into unloading Bitcoin and possibly, waiting for it to come down in these lower price zones so that you can reaccumulate and make some profits from this, then you could possibly unload some of it as we come into my ideal region. And of course, I don't know for a fact that we will come here, but the shorter time frames are pointing towards this kind of price action. So I'm hoping and I'm expecting that we will come to at least close to the 21,000, which will be a good selling zone. So definitely watch out for this. One of our sponsors is Token Metrics. I chose them to be one of our partners specifically because I use this website a lot in my marketing analysis and research. If you want to know when is the right time to enter a position on any coin or token, and more importantly, when to exit, because this is really the difficult part. There are loads of metrics here to help you with that. This is one of their new tools that helps me analyze the market better and spot the right entry or exit points. As you can see, it gives you a green signal when the market turns bullish, meaning we are in an uptrend, and the red signals indicate when the market has turned bearish. Thus, exiting positions and preventing losses becomes really easy with this tool. There are so many tools that you can use. Here's another one, the out season Bitcoin season indicator, that gives me a very good idea if it's time to diversify into outs or should my focus be on Bitcoin instead. There is no need to be a back holder during a bear market. I think by now that much is clear. And with this tool, it's a no-brainer. They provide in-depth data and stats on all cryptocurrencies and a lot of new upcoming projects, launches and token sales too. This is where I find unknown gems before they hit the mainstream, and I particularly like their emails with detailed breakdown on technicals and fundamentals on the projects that they research, and their expertise in this field is second to none. You can also customize your portfolio and track your P&L day to day, and you can create separate portfolios for different exchanges that you use to monitor your progress in the most efficient way. There are so many categories to choose from when analyzing the markets, way more than I've seen on any data aggregator website, so you can really advance your analysis and improve your investment strategies. I've been a premium member of Token Metrics for the past 2 years, and I'm using it on a daily basis. They send us emails, host webinars and podcasts with technical analysis, and they go deeper into their research of new projects or current market conditions. I find this really helpful in my own market analysis, as they give me a hint to things that I might have missed or overlooked otherwise. They offer a trial period and you get a 10% discount and a free ebook with my link, so go check it out, it's in the description below. Alright, well, this is everything for today's episode, guys. I hope it helps, and if you did, please share it with someone else who would also benefit from watching it. Also, make sure that you leave a like and a comment below. This will really help with the algorithms to pick up this video so that it can reach more people. And don't forget to check out the links in the description below, where I drop the links to all of the crypto services that I use and that I recommend to you. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos. Adios.